Hello, I am Reverend Irene Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to Generationally Speaking. Here at the table, we come and we discuss life issues, no matter what they might be. As we sit at the table with each generation, we all learn, we all grow, we all are inspired.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Generationally Speaking.
It doesn't sit well at all. I'm thankful that you wrote the book Mixed Diagnosis, so that my audience, can go out to all the mainstream book sellers and purchase that book, because it could save a family member's life.
Yeah, definitely. And I done saved a lot of people's lives. A lot of us don't go to the doctor, but I do. But I also want to say this. All right, they say you're supposed to get your prostate checked at 40. I was 35, I'm getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they say colonoscopy, supposed to check it at 50. I was 39. I done had like 6 colonoscopies.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I'm saying this, don't go by the age.
Yeah.
Go when you're suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can catch the stuff. I don't like to go by numbers and stuff where you're supposed to have this and done this. If I'm sick, I'm going to the doctor.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line. And the reason it's called misdiagnosis, patient versus doctor misdiagnosis, because me and my doctor were going back and forth. And I was getting angry. But I went through it for a reason. So if I had to go through it for a reason, if God has taken me through this for a reason, then fine. Like I said earlier, a lot of people call me when they have a problem with their prostate, and they say, Gary, I'm reading this book and stuff like this. I said, just continue to go to the doctor. Do not allow them to dismiss you.
Right.
Me and my doctor and I, the first doctor, also he put in there where he became irate. Just because I said I want to go to another specialist. He put all that stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Make it look like I'm the one going against him.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't. I was sick, and I want to know why I was sick.
Yeah, that is an argument that we see playing out against us, African American, Black women and men, all the time. When you ask questions, you become an angry Black person, because you're asking questions, and because the answers that you're getting are not sitting well, and so you're pushing to say, well, wait a minute, let me ask you this. But they are upset because you want to ask questions about your own health. You have to be your own advocate.
And that's true. And let me give another example since you said that. Okay, my grandmother took me to the doctor. And, I was a little older, so she always accompanied me in the back room. I said, Mom, I can go in the room by myself. I'm old now. And that doctor, when I went in the room, and I had wanted to talk about how I was feeling, about about depression. But before that, I went there for my asthma. No, she did accompany me in the room. And I'm like, why I'm continuing to get sick? I said, Ma, because I called her Ma. I said, Ma, why did the doctor get mad? Because I asked him a question. You don't know the answer, Gary. You don't know the answer. That's what she said. Because she know I didn't understand, but she knew he was kind of dismissed me as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, because I always been the type of person to ask questions, And but when I went to the doctor the next time, and I told my grandma she didn't have to accompany me, I wanted to ask the doctor about how I was feeling. And I was feeling sad and stuff. I didn't know, kind of suspected it, but I didn't know. And he said he's suffering depression. And he said, I'm going to go ahead and send you to a psychiatrist. And that was 1981. And I shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Went off to college, got married, so I didn't tell anybody. I'm not trying to branch into another subject, but it just happened to come up, But
this is a good place for it to come up. So let's talk about how you how you moved into this arena of social justice. And whenever you talk about social justice, you have to talk about mental health because they go together.
Yeah.
They go together.
I'm gonna tell you this. What actually changed? I think I always been an advocate. When I used to play football, I was a quarterback. You know, they didn't want no black quarterback. You know, it felt like we were dumb. And I used to get mad all the time. If I see something wrong in class and stuff, I stand up for the people because I don't like seeing people being messed over. And on my job and stuff, when the captain always berate the lieutenants and stuff, and they just sit there and take it. These grown people married and got children. I never liked that. And so I always spoke up. But I'm gonna tell you what changed my life. I was a lieutenant at the federal prison camp in Seymour Johnson. And July 1995, I got promoted to a senior lieutenant and went to Tallahassee. And when I got to Tallahassee, I wasn't there 90 days, a riot broke out. You know, so not in Tallahassee, it was at Marianna, Florida. And so I was a special operations response team lieutenant. And so whenever we have riots, I had to take my team in there and, you know, kind of like quell the situation. Okay, they were fighting about mandatory minimum sentencing guideline when it came to powder and crack cocaine. Of course, I wasn't astute like I am now about the subject, you know, at all. And so after the riot, I kind of like started asking questions. What's this law about? So let me tell you something. Okay, President Clinton was the president at the time. Janet Reno was the attorney general at the time. Okay, Congress asked the United States Sentencing Commission, and most of them were made up of judges, to go out and do a study and to determine whether or not, you know, this law is racially biased toward blacks. They came back and they voted 4-3 that it was. So before I can go to the next subject, they had the law, you know, they had a scale, all right, and they had a ratio of 100-1. So meaning that if you got crack, your time gonna be, I mean, you know, the time you serve gonna be 100 more times than when you get caught with powder.
Right.
So let me give you ordinance a prime example. If you have 100 gram powder cocaine, okay, back then, you know, a gram was like $100. So that's you know, $100,000, you know, of powder cocaine. You have 5 grams of crack. I think the street value was $500. Okay, so a lot of people having 5 grams of crack, they're not out there selling; they're out there using. But you automatically go to the federal, you know, federal prison. And so, in order for people to get the same 5-year sentence, you got to have $100,000 worth of cocaine before you get that, implement that, you know, 5-year sentence. And I studied about that. And of course, you know, you've been in Maryland. I'm gonna step back a little bit. Len Bias, you know, I got drafted to the Boston Celtics, 1986. I think it probably was the election year. And they told me we got to get tough on drugs. We got to do this, we got to do that. And so they were rushing, trying to, you know, satisfy the public. And I do remember Len Bias' mother going out, and she was on the speaker circuit. I do remember that, definitely. And so they asked her to do a lot of things, and they were trying to rush to get this law out. And I think the Speaker of the House was Tip O'Neill. I think, if I'm not sure, Tip O'Neill. So they rushed to get this law out. But see, Len Bias didn't die of crack cocaine. He died of powder cocaine. I mean, yeah, he died of powder cocaine. So, you know, they came up with the, you know, mandatory minimum sentence law with powder. You know, they always said, you know, blacks had a preference for crack, white had a preference for powder. But let me tell you something that a lot of people don't know. I mean, if you and I was in a car and you white and I'm black, and we get stopped for drugs. They're going to take us down, and the feds are going to say, give me him or give me her. Because you automatically going to prison those 5 years for what you had. The state could take the white guy. They didn't have mandatory minimum sentences for powder and crack cocaine. And more than likely, he would get out on probation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't know that. They were snatching all the blacks, sending them to prison for crack, and they were sending the whites to state institute, And November 1st, 1987, parole was abolished.
Mm-hmm.
When they came up with the mandatory minimum, parole was abolished November 1st, 1987, and, in a federal system. And so a lot of people don't know that. That's why we have so many blacks incarcerated. And it was sad. But let me tell you, after the riots, I got to learn a lot of stuff. I started going on TV. So I was told, by the captain, you can't go on TV and speak about this. I said, yes, I can. I said, this doesn't have anything to do with the institution. Congress made the law, and Congress is the only one can change it. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking, trying to get Congress to change that law. And make a long story short, I started getting retaliated against every time I went on TV and came back home. I would get retaliated against. And so eventually, I got retaliated against so bad that I had to retire. My doctor tried to make me retire at 36. I refused. And at 39, he said, Gary, either you can retire, you have to retire. Because see, what you are telling me, if it happens, I'm responsible. And a lot of things going through my mind. I was gonna hurt some people and stuff like that. They were retaliating against me. But anyway, he told me, hey, Gary, allow them to pay you. You go out there and speak about that. So most of the time, I speak to the children at church or either grade school. Mm-hmm. And then, to try to teach them this before they get in trouble and stuff like that. So a lot of people be asking, why are so many blacks getting locked up? There are so many different things that people don't know. And okay, go ahead.
So as an advocate, what are your aspirations now as an advocate for social justice when it comes to the prison system? What direction do you want to see us go in, and what can we do?
Okay, I tell the inmates and everybody around the world, you're a constituent. So you had to find out who are your congresswoman, congressman, find out who they are. And you have to start calling them right. And now you have to find someone that's going to introduce a bill to bring back federal parole. And once they introduce a bill, they got to get co-sponsors. Danny Davis from Chicago, Honorable Danny Davis from Chicago, he introduced a bill to bring back federal parole. Because it's like this. In the federal system, you basically almost have to do all your time. So my aspiration is basically to bring back federal parole. But at the time, I felt like, could I work 6 different prisons starting at Lorton? And once you take away parole and stuff like that, and people got 25, 30 years, they don't have no intentions of trying to behave themselves and stuff. They don't have anything to look forward to. And I'm going to give a prime example. And it resonate with people when I said, when I used to, go over the inmates' records, and I asked them, if you got life, I said, where you want your body shipped to when you expire? And that's when it hit them. But, they ain't getting out. It's life. And we're talking about for a nonviolent offense. It's life. They're not getting out. But feds don't have federal parole. That mandatory minimum started in 86, and the feds got rid of parole. And there's a reason for that. President Barack Obama, I hate when people say he didn't do anything about criminal justice. Yes, he did do something about criminal justice. Stop listening to the people in the streets and do your own research. Our blacks are saying, well, he didn't do anything. Yes, he did do something about criminal justice. He created the first Sentencing Act of 2010. You remember I was telling you about that 100-to-1 ratio? It dropped down to 18-to-1. And about 14,000 people got out. Yeah. They had done too much time. My goal is to get 1-to-1. like it's supposed to have been the first time. And they were like, well, you know, crack is bad. I said, let me tell you something. Crack and powder is the same thing.
Yeah.
And let me give you a prime example. We eat a lot of chicken. My grandma baked it. She broiled it. She fried it. She stewed. But at the end of the day, it was still chicken.
Yeah.
So they trying to say, well, you know, crack is bad and all this stuff. And I was in Long Beach, California, on a criminal justice reform meeting. And it's the first time I ever would call it racist in my entire life. I would call it racist by a white person. I said, when crack was prevalent, on it rampant, I said, they stopped building drug treatment centers and start, you know, building more prison. And Janet Reno asked them, said, we need more treatment centers, you know, because a lot of people are sick. They don't need to be in prison, but they just kept on. And I'm like, wow. So I said, methamphetamine is on the rise at the time. I said, blacks, I'm not saying blacks don't use methamphetamine, but that's the drug of choice by a lot of white people.
Mm-hmm.
And check this out, though. Now they want to build more drug treatment centers because they don't want to put all the white people in prison. And they did a step further. They took a certain medication and cold medication, certain ingredients that you can make meth with. So they took that cold medication, put it behind the counter, and you had to sign for it.
Right.
You know, they were doing everything they can to help whites out. And when I say this, I'm not a racist. I just tell the truth. And that's what they were doing. I worked at 6 different prisons.
So, as an advocate, though, what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, first I want mandatory minimum sentence guideline drop from 18 to 1. President Barack Obama did a great job. It need to be the 1-to-1 and let be fair. I want them to bring the parole back.
Okay.
That gives something to look forward to. And that's what I've been doing, Captain, here. I used to go live and stuff like that. And right now, that's what I want to do. And so when I used to write inmates used to write me. What I do, I said, even though you can't call your congressman, have your parents or your guardian or someone get out in the community and, and call them and tell them that, Danny Davis introduced this bill and ask your congressman, to sign off on it. And I've been doing that for like 22 years now. Gotten to the point they took my Social Security disability.
Wow.
I waited 4 years to get my Social Security disability. Went to court, they approved it. They wrote me a letter next week. We rescinded it. I had waited 4 years. I went back to court, and the judge said, "Oh, Gary, do you have a website?" I said, "Judge, you brought my website up. You told me I was a Compton, California speaker. I didn't bring that up to you. You researched and did that, and you encouraged me to keep doing it." Now all of a sudden, but it wasn't her fault. It was someone higher authority than her. And I couldn't find out later on. Someone sent an anonymous letter saying I was out, speaking. And so it was quite disturbing and upsetting. And I have come too far to turn around and don't do anything. So I met with Congressman John Lewis. Me and John Lewis used to go to the grocery store. That's how much, that's how well I knew him. And he told me to keep on. But I'm gonna tell you something that I did that I never done. Now I fast a lot. Don't get me wrong. I don't fast on my birthday. I do not fast on my birthday. I fasted January 25th, 2009. And I sent all my stuff to President Barack Obama. And I got a letter from disability people. Said the President of the United States want your case reopened. I don't know whether or not he's seen the case. It's a lot of times, when you're in a position like that, other people do stuff. However that happened. And guess what? And guess the letter, guess what the date on the letter was?
What was that?
January 25th, 2010. That's the same day I fasted.
Mm.
So I don't take that for granted.
Right, right.
So when I went back to court, they're supposed to be giving me 7 years back pay. They only gave me 2. I had been for a long time. I had a pension. Don't get me wrong. I did have a pension. And I'm like, wow. They said, are you going to take the 2 years back pay? I said, yeah, forget it, because I'll be receiving the check. And I was like, when I went into court, the judge said, you Gary Jones? I said, yeah. He said, you have any money? I said, yeah, I got some money. You have health insurance? I said, yes, I got health. I said, what made you think I'm going to have health insurance? He said, I don't know what's going on, but you approved. And told the secretary, make sure you get his money in 2 weeks. Tell us out though. So go ahead.
So all of these things are good, but how can they get in contact with you if they want to support your efforts?
Okay, right now, they have to go to my website. It's kind of down, they're working on it. Advocateforjustice.org. They're working on it now because someone hacked, the website. And I hate that because I'm speaking to a large audience and they can't, get to it. They can go to Gary, GARRYLJones.com and they can get some information on that until my website come back up.
Okay.
And
tell us the titles of your books.
Okay. Still I Rise, Managed Depression.
Okay.
There are 5 triggers I talk about. I had to learn this the hard way. I've been suffering from depression since I was 1970, since I was 6 years old.
Right.
I didn't know what it was,
So that information is inside your book.
Yes, because you got to eat right.
Okay.
I had to find out the long way, because I used to work out and go to McDonald's and buy one Big Mac and get another one free. And, you got to exercise. But the main thing, you got to stay away from negative people.
Yes.
And
your other book?
When people call, their name show up, my heart, I just get anxiety attack. I'm not going to tell you who called. There's a lot of people call, and I just immediately get an anxiety attack. And you got to find something you love doing. All right. This book, The True Character of a Man, Straight Out of Hell. The True Character of a Man.
Hold it up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Straight Out of Hell, True Character of a Man, Inside the Truth of the Criminal Justice System and Mass Incarceration and Restoration. All right. You find a lot about this. Okay. Of course, when I got shot, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mm.
But like I was saying earlier, God was speaking, and I wasn't listening.
Right.
The reason I said that stuff because I'm writing a book called God Will Speak, but Are You Listening?
Yeah.
Okay. My wife asked me to write a children's book. I'm like, I'm not writing no children's book. You know what I'm saying? I said, hey, I'm not going to write no children's book. When I wrote the book, it was about 25 pages, 8 by 11. She said, a child don't have that attention span, but this is my dad's vacation.
Okay.
And see what it is. I don't know if I have time.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But people are telling their children that their dad is incarcerated, but they're telling them they're on vacation.
Right. And little Johnny, this little buddy and his white friend named Little Johnny. I wish I had time to speak about it, but this is very important for the kids. Mm-hmm. Please go out and get this book, not because I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to, because God will give me my money. I'm just trying to get the message out.
Right.
Well, my target audience got to be kids to keep them from even getting that way.
Mm-hmm. All
right. Other book. This book just been released. Little Buddy Goes to Washington. That's the second part of the first book. Mm-hmm. And Little Buddy go get the laws changed. when you ask me, how do I, what's my desire to do this and do that? A lot of this little buddy, basically, which is me, really. Go to Capitol Hill and little buddy with his grandmother, and he would explain, grandmother asked how you get the bill passed and stuff like that. And little buddy, he was asking people in the community to go out and vote and call their congressmen and things of that nature. And I don't have my other books.
Okay. Well, first of all, Gary, I want to say thank you so much. You certainly shared a lot with my audience, and we've learned a lot, and we know that we can contact you at GaryLJones.com.
Yes.
And that's one way of contacting you. We also know that we can support you by going to all the major retailers that sell books and purchase those books. If you put Gary L. Jones in there, his books are going to come up. You can't remember the titles. Also, you can go on his website, GaryLJones.com, and you will find those book titles. And I would say to my audience, we've heard a lot, and his story is more expansive than we have time to tell here. But he talks about diagnosis, misdiagnosis. That's key and critical. Prostate cancer, that's key and critical. He talks about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's key and critical. He talks about changing the laws and how we can advocate for a change, and we have to be the ones to find that voice to speak up. And so I want to say, and he paid a price for speaking up. He had to leave his job, but he didn't give up. He stayed focused. He fought some battles. He fought some battles, but we congratulate him now. We give him his flowers right now, and we say thank you, Gary, for staying on the battlefield. And for those who don't have a voice, you are their voice that's speaking for them. To my audience, I always say, once you get inspiration, you have to get some information. And once you get some information and you mix it with your inspiration, it's going to be a transformation. Hey, see you next week. God bless.
Thank you. I appreciate it.